Oh, here are the articles from the day after. Gazzetta saying mythical Inter after their extra time win over Barcelona, booking their spot in the final. Mundo Deportivo, the epic goodbye with Lamine Yamal in the picture there, laid flat out after both sides gave absolutely everything on the pitch in this game. We do have Jurgen, Robbo and Frank with us. And Robbo, you were on the world feed for this game. It was absolutely incredible. It's standing out as one of the best semi-finals we've ever seen in the Champions League. Have you recovered yet?
Just about, yes. It was fantastic. Both legs were fantastic. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a privilege to be doing the game. But there was so much going on. You know, you turn from one way, obviously refereeing decisions, some brilliant play by Yamal, some of the best play you'll see in a semi-final for a long, long time. Brilliant goalkeeping. You mentioned it earlier from Sommer. You know, the way that they, in the first 20, 25 minutes, Inter found a way to break the offside line that Barcelona have been playing so well all season. Dumfries was a continual threat down the right-hand side. Di Marco did the same down the left-hand side. The link-up of the front two was good. And then you saw Pedri and De Jong run the game. There was so many things that went on. And you just couldn't believe when Rafinha scored, that was it for me. You know, you looked at Inter, they were out on their legs. There was many players that were struggling to run. Thuram was struggling to close people down. Martinez was already off, and they were really struggling. So to come back and get those two goals, one just before not the end of 90 minutes, and then the other one in extra time, was a magnificent performance from them, because in lots of areas they were second best, really.
Yeah, now obviously we're saying we all loved it. I'm sure the defender, Frank Leboeuf, was scratching his eyes out at the 7 goals that he saw in a single game here. Frank?
Oh, that was insane. I mean, you want to be positive, and you say, okay, let's forget that I was a defender, and I should be upset about it because defender weren't doing the job. Especially the third goal from Inter, where you are like, I don't know how many minutes left before the end. Barcelona are 3-2 away from home. You're ready to go to the final, and you have suddenly somebody called Acerbi, never scored in the Champions League. Even the ball is not there. He sprints towards the opponent's net, and somehow he's going to get the ball. But I want to know why. How come Barcelona defense, they are outplayed, and they're not like 4 defenders almost ready parking the bus, you know, to be ready to not be in the positioning of a counterattack. That's insane for me. I like the fact that you like to go and you like to score goals, and you maybe don't think too much, but like 2-3 minutes before the end, semi-final of the Champions League, 3-2 away from home, you are qualified, and you keep on attacking, and you forget the basics of defending. I was quite upset with that, but otherwise, so happy for Acerbi. The guy felt it. It was like it was written. The guy said, okay, I'm going to go, I'm going to sprint, and somehow I'm going to get the ball, and I'm going to score striker goals, because that was a striker goal. That was insane, absolutely insane. I was jumping.
And I cannot stress this enough. They were 3v3. 3v3. When you're winning 3-2 with 2 minutes to go, with a high line as well. You were asking for trouble, and so now the ball didn't go your way, and now everybody's chasing back, and when you're chasing back, as I mentioned earlier, it's panicky defending. So now you're not aware of what's going on around you. You're just focusing on the ball and trying to get yourself in a position, in a space where you can clear the danger. That's not organized defending. If you're Barcelona at that point, what I would have liked to have seen, and it was mismanaged not only by the players but by Hansi Flick himself, hey, let's get behind the ball and we see everything in front of us. And we have no space behind us. We see everything. And why is that important? Because now you're stepping into passing lanes. You're stepping to players. You're winning this ball. You're seeing everything developing in front of you. You're not chasing. You're seeing it, and you can anticipate it. That's the difference between defending the last couple of minutes and whatever Barcelona did.
And they're the sort of things, you know, doesn't matter what the manager says to you, and they've played the high line very well throughout the season. And most of the time it works. But there's sometimes, and Frank will tell you, that you see the danger, I can't squeeze up here, I've got to drop off because the threat is the ball played in behind me. And that was 2 centre-halves doing exactly what the managers asked them to do, but choosing the wrong time to do it.
Go ahead, Frank.
And that's crazy for me, because that's the easiest way. You know, when you get tired at the 85th minute, you do that because you want to play offside, because you don't want to chase the guy back. So it's understandable because you're tired. But we are at the 21st minute. So you have to have a reflex of, oh my God, we lose the ball, I drop back, as just Robo alluded. That must be instinctive. That must be in a subconscious way somewhere where, oh, I lost the ball, I track back. No, they play offside, they play the high line, which is completely the opposite of what you have to do. That's insane for me. I don't know what Flick taught them in that matter, but I was completely wrong.
In this moment, Jurgen, and in the moments that we've been discussing so far already, on to whether it is the player or the coach who's at fault here, where does the blame lie?
I think it's not about the blame at the end of the day. It's about how this team is growing. And they are not in sync yet 100%. They are just finding themselves still. You know, on the field, and once you go through these different stages of the game, you make, hopefully most of the time, good decisions and make a couple of bad decisions. You know, it has to do also with experience that we discussed yesterday. Experience is a big factor in that. But also, you are highly, highly emotional in these kind of moments. And especially in the last 2 minutes, as Frank rightfully said, you know, just kick the ball in the stand. Just make sure nothing happens anymore. Go old school and don't keep that high line anymore, or go into that situation, as Alejandro said, you know, 3 against 3. It shouldn't be the case. But those are emotional decisions of these partly very, very young players and inexperienced players. And here and there, they go the wrong direction. And then, you know, obviously you lose the game. I think Hansi Flick, he himself as a manager, learns a lot out of these 2 semifinals. Learns a lot, you know, and the team as well. So they have to address it. Obviously, we will have this continuous discussion about the high line of Barcelona going forward, because overall, he won't change completely his philosophy, his style of play. He wants to go forward. He always wants to score 1 more goal than the opponent. So he rather wins 4-3 than 1-0. But there needs to be a balance, and they need to figure out then, especially on that stage of a game, when you're in a semifinal of a Champions League and you are up 3-2 and it's last minute, you just need to close it down. Just close it down. And they will regret that. You know, I mean, obviously they're very, very disappointed now with that fact. But overall, I think the future belongs to this young Barcelona team. They will give us a lot of joy in the upcoming years.
And just try to do something like, I don't know, I'm going to try to put a bar here, but don't close up. And that's the main concern, because Frattesi has the whole time to choose where he's going to put the ball. So yes, that was a mistake. But Kubasi is a very young player. He has one year existence in a football life, so he can be forgiven for that.
Yeah, he's still just a teenager, Jurgen. How does Hansi Flick deal with this situation now? Obviously, this is all a learning curve for him. How does he deal with this player now after a game like this?
Well, he will pull them up, and he will be positive. And obviously, they play no other than Real Madrid on the weekend. So they have to forget about these brutal moments there last night and get their heads back up. And overall, they played a fantastic Champions League campaign. And yeah, as I said before, the future belongs to this young Barcelona team. And I think that, you know, as much as the players learn, especially the younger ones in this roster, every day in the work with Hansi Flick, so is Hansi Flick learning a lot about his players now, week in, week out. And I think there's something growing there, something very, very special for the next couple of years. But it definitely hurts, you know, for a couple of days, because when do you have a chance to get into the final for the Champions League?
Yeah, I just want to talk to you as well, Robbo, because obviously we've talked a lot about Barcelona here, but as you were on the call for this on the World Field, we've picked apart Barca's game. Let's just talk a little bit about Inter, about the team spirit they showed, about their fight they showed, and just getting the job done here.
Well, they played very well for the first 20, 25 minutes. They understood how they could try and break Barcelona down. I thought the switches of play out to Dumfries, the front two were trying to link up and play quick balls in behind. So they'd done their homework. But during that second half, when they came out for the second, they were totally outplayed. They were Barcelona. It was only a matter of time before Barcelona got themselves in front. They were totally dominant, and it looked as though Inter's players were absolutely shattered. They got back into it with the equaliser, which I didn't think they would, and then they played much better in extra time. They found an extra pair of legs, so great spirit from them. Obviously had the crowd in behind them. But one thing we didn't talk about is that I'm not quite sure, and maybe he was injured, but Inigo Martinez, that was the change. I know he was booked. That was the change in the back four for Barcelona. And that's when it started to go wrong, when Araujo came on and he didn't have the understanding with Kabasi. Kabasi had to go from the right to the left. Araujo came on, and from that moment on, they struggled as a back four. So maybe the manager might look at himself and think, why did I do that?
It sounds to me, Robbo, like when it comes to the final, that I'll go on then, Frank.
Sorry, but because we are talking about Inter Milan, you know, and because of my former teammate Lilian Thuram, I want to talk about his son. I mean, first to hear the name disturbs me a lot, because I say, well, Lilian, where is Lilian? He's still playing. You know, it's very hard. And I remember Marcus being so young when I played with him, you know, in a hotel room when after a game. That little guy is absolutely amazing. I mean, he didn't score goals, but I have to tell you, the game that he had, the two legs that he had, were simply amazing. The way he was working his socks off for the rest of the team, how he served. I mean, the assist that he gave, well, almost the assist that he gave on the fourth goal, it's simply amazing. He never gives up. He seems to be tired, but he keeps on working hard and serve the others. I really loved his behavior yesterday and during the first leg.
Yeah, an incredible display of professionalism.